Well, we're going to hear now from Caroline Lowe, Director of Environment and Future of Mobility at the Department for Transport. Just a reminder, please do send your questions in through the question and answer box on the right-hand side of your screen. We will try and get through as many of those as we possibly can in the next session. Caroline's going to give us an update on the government's work, and then we'll be taking questions. Caroline, thank you for being with us. Over to you.
Peter, thank you so much. And I should start with an apology, because you should have had a minister today, but the reshuffle and party conference meant that you ended up with me. But for me, it's an absolute pleasure, because I love BVRLA events. You are all so critical to this transition. We really welcome the way you're engaging with this agenda and the constructive engagement. Between you guys, you buy half of all the cars, almost all of the vans, you drive more miles than anyone else, and you're grappling daily with the real issues on the ground. So coming to these events is fantastic for me, because your comments, your questions always give me really practical things to take away and test against our policy. Are the connectors long enough to reach a van? Can the van get into the parking space in the first place? So as well as the really overarching policy, it's great to hear about some of the challenges that you're dealing with on the ground. I broadly agree with Jerry's assessment of where we are. Perhaps wouldn't put HGVs at red, but in relative terms, I think he's hit the nail on the head. So car sales and home charging, we think, are in good shape. And we now have funding secured to future-proof the grid capacity across our motorways and A roads, so that we can really get to grips with range anxiety. We've brought together all of the information about our current grants, the research that we're doing, the regulatory proposals that we're considering, and the various government commitments in our 2035 delivery plan, which we published in July. We'll pop a link in the chat later, but I'd really encourage you to look at that if you're not sure about the plethora of things government is doing to support this agenda. But as Jerry says, there are still more challenges. And the next big ones from our point of view are on-street charging, vans, and HGVs. So for vans, we have grant funding through to the next financial year. For on-street, we're working really closely with local authorities, and we have £90 million of funding to support them to install on-street and rapid charging hubs in their local areas. And we're making a start on HGV trials, with 20 million now awarded for the initial trials. Our consultations on a ZEV mandate and phase-out dates for HGVs have closed in the last couple of weeks, and we're busy assessing all of the responses to those. Later this year, we plan to publish an infrastructure strategy, which will set out our views on how many public charge points are needed, what our role will be, what the role of the private sector will be in delivering that. So look, I would love to give you more certainty, as Jerry called for, about future grants and taxes, but you're going to have to invite me back the other side of the spending review for me to do that. The one thing I can be really certain about today is the role that the fleet sector is going to play. Sharing your experience with each other, with us, with local authorities, is going to be absolutely critical to making this transition. So thank you.